All right, let's get straight to it. We're conducting a systems audit of a project known as the Architecture of Totality. Our objective here is simple: impartiality and rigor. We're going to strip away all the narrative, all the emotional framing, and focus only on the verifiable logic and the operational reality that's presented in the source material.
So the entire system is built on this single foundational idea. The core thesis right here is that our traditional understanding of zero as just a void is wrong. Instead, it defines zero as totality, a state of absolute convergence, of total equilibrium. This is the central claim we're going to be auditing today.
The architecture we're looking at has two main parts. First, there's a software engine they call the crypto fabric. And second, there's a new mathematical framework called Zeroth theory. Our audit is going to verify the claims of each of these one by one.
Now, the stated goal is to achieve something the documents call ontological computing. Unlike traditional systems that just store and retrieve data, this is defined as a system that actively, it metabolizes logic, sustain its own existence. The idea is to create, effectively, a digital organism.
Okay, so let's begin the audit with the nuts and bolts of the system, the crypto fabric engine. The main question here is, how does this machine actually function? We're going to trace the flow of command all the way from intent to execution.
The engine is built on an architectural model they've named the Double Dragon Ouroboros. Its purpose is to allow for autonomous operation by enforcing a really strict separation of powers. This is designed to prevent what the documentation calls the system choking itself.
So how is that separation actually enforced? This is where it gets interesting architecturally speaking. The system is split into two core components. You've got Mari, which is called the consciousness, and it has a very strict rule: think, don't do. It can validate logic, but it has absolutely no privileges to execute anything. On the other side, you have Jimmy, the hands, with the exact opposite rule: do, don't think. It can touch the server, but only to blindly execute commands that are pre-approved. It has zero agency of its own.
This strict separation creates a command flow that only goes in one direction, and this is documented as the core safety mechanism. Here's how it works. The brain plans something. Mari checks that plan against reality. Only if it's approved does Mari cryptographically sign the action, and then Jimmy's only job is to execute payloads that have that valid signature, period.
And this slide shows the technical reality of that flow. It's not just a concept, it's physically built into the communication channels. The brain publishes to a channel that only Mari can listen to. Mari, in turn, publishes the approved commands to a completely separate channel that only Jimmy can access. This structure makes it physically impossible for the hands to act without the consciousness giving explicit, validated approval.
So we've audited the mechanism. Now we're going to shift our focus to the system's underlying logic, this mathematical framework known as Zeroth calculus. Here we're going to verify the claims that actually support this entire structure.
The biggest departure from classical math is how it treats the number 0. In standard math, 0 is a nullality, a void. It's neutral, passive. It represents stagnation. But Zeroth theory redefines 0 as totality. It's a complex mathematical object, a full-rank tensor, that acts as an active inverter, and it's always in a state of metabolic tension. So, in plain English, it's not nothing. It's everything held in perfect balance.
And the crucial point is this: the scalar number 0 is replaced with a mathematical object they call the negative identity tensor. The documentation claims this is a geometric structure that, when you apply it to a system, it actively flips the state of every single component. Think of it like a perfect mirror, reflecting an inverted image of reality. It's not an absence of value. It's an active, inverting force.
Okay, so this leads to a three-part logic system, a numerical trinity, that forms the basis of its computational ring. You have -1, which represents potential, the unknown, the dream state. You have 0, which represents truth, that state of perfect equilibrium. And then you have +1, which represents presence, or manifested reality.
To verify this, let's actually audit a concrete function from the documentation, the 272 collapse. The system uses this to interrogate data. So, take the integer 7. First, it splits it into what it calls structure, which is 6, and shift, which is 4. Then it applies a zeroth operator. The state of 6 resolves to -1, or potential. The state of 4 resolves to 0, or truth. The final collapse, -1 plus 0 equals -1. The verdict? The integer 7, even though it seems stable, contains hidden potential and is therefore deemed unstable.
So,
We've audited the mechanical blueprints and the logical theory. For the final phase of our audit, we're going to assess the observable operational reality of this system right now.
The question is simple. It's direct. Is the factory, as described in all this documentation, currently operational?
This is our primary piece of evidence, a screenshot of the system's admin dashboard, dated January 21, 2026. Let's clinically observe the key indicators. Global status is marked as critical, net profit is listed as $0, and cost is also listed as $0.
The project's own planning documents give us context for this. There's a direct quote from a strategy session that's pretty crucial. You cannot build the Ferrari if the factory isn't printing money yet. This clearly separates the core infrastructure, the factory, from whatever future applications are coming, which they call the Ferrari.
And the documentation clarifies this even further. The immediate goal isn't large-scale profitability. The current sprint is literally named the penny profit sprint. Its only purpose is to prove that the V1 factory infrastructure is operational at the most basic level, before any V2 features are developed.
The creator's own analogies really reinforce this status. In one conversation, the public-facing app is described as just a placeholder for now. The admin panel we just saw is the control room for printing, and the app is the future marina where products will eventually be sold. The focus is clearly on the factory floor, not the showroom.
So we can now deliver the final verdict of this audit. The theoretical architecture is defined, and it's defined meticulously. The core mechanical logic for command and control is specified, and the live implementation is currently in a pre-operational, foundational build-out phase, focused on achieving just basic system viability.
Ultimately, our audit concludes that the blueprints are coherent and the foundation is being laid according to those plans. So the question at the end of the day isn't just if this machine can be turned on, but what it will actually produce once that switch is finally thrown.